Morning. Well, it may not be morning where you are when you're listening to this. I'm Dee McClung. This is Archer Monologues. Oh, a word about that. Ra is the sun god, the god of light. Dwell on that for a bit. Monologues. It means the word, because words mean what they mean. Monologues means I talk, you listen, or not. All right. It's not a discussion, in other words. And it's not a debate. I like the form of expression or voicing my thoughts. Monologue. Because I talk, I say what I want to say, and I don't have to be interrupted by people, idiots, wanting to argue. I want to argue with you. No. I can't tell you how many, probably years of my life have been wasted bickering and arguing with idiots. And people that want to argue, for the most part, are idiots. Now, if you argue and if you enjoy it, and if you want to call it something else like discussions, I like to discuss the issues. The definition of discussion might come as a surprise to you, since you probably never look anything up in a dictionary. The definition of discussion is, one of them, debate. So if you're having a discussion, then more than likely, it's very possible, let's say, you're having a debate with someone. You're debating with them. Or they've been trying to debate with you, whichever. The point is, monologues is not that way. Not that kind of talk. Not that kind of communication. Now, I don't mind conversating. I don't mind having a conversation. That's kind of like just, communicating with each other. Not really debating. Not really arguing and bickering. And not really having a full-blown out discussion. It's like, how you doing, Bob? Oh, I'm doing all right there, G. How's your day going? Oh, I'm doing pretty good, except for the idiots. If you want to freaking debate me, and don't want to play by the rules of debating, by the way, there are rules in formal debating. If you want to engage in casual debating, then I'm sorry, that's just probably just a waste of time. So, monologue. Art or monologue. The art part is pretty obvious. I'm an artist. And loose definition of artist is a person who is creative, who makes things that didn't exist before, expresses his thoughts, his feelings, his vision. Another word for artist is, and that's artist with a capital A, by the way, which means something. It's sort of like the name, well, like the god Ra, which is capitalized. Ardra. art, creativity, expression, expressing a vision, and and sometimes that vision is, as we might imagine, a little bit loony, which may have something to do with the moon. I don't know. So let's say, expressing opinions. The most common form of expression. I'm guessing everybody's got an opinion, and probably most people find the means to express it. Since the internet has been invented and or discovered, depending on which way you look at that science, hey, just about anybody can. All it takes is what? An internet connection. You can express yourself to the world. Back in the old days, before my time, an artist was probably kind of rare. I remember a time before I was alive. I don't mean I remember being alive. I mean I remember, in history, that, and this is something people have a hard time grasping, the concept of history. We'll get into that one right now. But modern technology made it possible for billions of people to express their opinions. I can assure you, come on, if it wasn't for the internet and all these wonderful technologies and software programs and website facilitators, I wouldn't be sitting here recording this and broadcasting this to you. Like, here's me, I'm talking and you're listening. You can hear me. If you have an internet connection and you're inclined to tune into my radio station, hey, you can listen. You're listening, because if you're not listening, then you're not hearing me say this, which means I'm not talking to you. But my opinion is still being expressed. And let's remember, an opinion is a biased personal preference in personal view, biased, and usually subjective. People are always accusing me of expressing my opinion. That's just your opinion. Well, I tell them. They don't listen, but I tell them. Not necessarily. I guess I could recap that a little bit for people for today. And let's say that my opinion is, all right, let me think of some. I'll just give you the standard example. Cooked spinach is yucky. That's my opinion. It is also my opinion that I don't want to eat cooked spinach. I'm not going to eat cooked spinach. It's yucky. That's my opinion. I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it. I don't even want to think about it. It is my opinion that spinach should never be cooked. Excuse me. That's my opinion. And I guess I'm entitled to that, according to people. And oh, you're entitled to your opinion. That's debatable sometimes. I might be entitled to my opinion because my opinion is maybe better than your opinion, and maybe you're not entitled to your opinion. I heard an argument about that once. I can't remember exactly how that argument goes, but the premise of the argument was not everybody's entitled to their opinion. Not if your opinion is stupid and idiotic and wrong. People argue that, that word argue, they want to discuss, debate, whether an opinion is something everyone's entitled to. Well, you might be entitled to it, that doesn't mean you get to say it. For example, you don't get to say it on my radio show, because it's my radio show and I talk and you listen. Or not. Don't want to listen? Turn the channel, baby. What I love about radio, I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to listen to the audience. Unless I was broadcasting my radio station live somewhere from, in front of an audience. Like Howard Stern. I'm not sure Howard Stern actually broadcasts his radio show on a stage in front of, hundreds of people. It's broadcast out to the world, and lots of people listen. Why do I mention Howard Stern? He's a character. He is a rich character, by the way. I'm guessing he has lots of millions. Good for him. I suppose he deserves it. If he can convince people that have money to give it to him, and he does something, and hey, you just talk and say dirty things and shit. And talk about have people on your show, come on your radio show, or and they record this like a video show. That's kind of weird. Well, actually, I like the videos better than the radio part when it comes to Howard Stern, because he has like women come on and like, show us your titties, and they do, and he sits there and says, those are perfect titties, nice and perky, and the nipples are a little, it's like funny. It's funny. Somebody might say, oh yeah, Howard Stern is gross or obscene or sick, just whatever. I imagine he doesn't give a shit what you think. In that case, your opinion is like, who cares? Anyway, I kind of like Howard Stern from the point of view of, like, he's a character. He's unique. He's one of a kind, I think. I think he is. That's in my opinion that he is. Which might also be a factual conclusion or observation. It's funny how all that works and intertwines in there, and everything sets into some sort of pattern that's quite logical. Put those words. So anyway, we got. I'm giving a lot of press here to Howard Stern today, instead of myself. Gee, that's a switch. I'm usually saying, "Oh, look at me, listen to me." It's radio, and I'm talking. My radio show. Da, 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 da. You don't like it? Tough shit. And if you don't want to listen to me, why are you still listening to me? It's been 14 minutes there, and I'm still talking, and you still can't talk back. Ah, yeah, true. On the website, for the radio show, there was a section there that comments. You can make a comment if you want. I haven't turned that off. So if you want to make a comment, go for it. I don't mind. If you say something stupid, though, I'll probably say, hey, that was a stupid comment, and I'm going to slap you. Virtual slap. Virtual slap. Not physically, not like literally, not like, come to wherever you are and take my hand and go, PAM, across the face. That's violence, and that's aggressive, and that's probably called something like battery. And But if I warn you I'm going to come, if I'm standing in front of you, like I come in your house, and I walk across your yard, and I'm going to come in your house and kick your door in and slap the shit out of you, that would be assault and battery, and that's a crime. So, so I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to do that. I just, that's just silly. Why would I do that? I don't want to go to jail. Not that I give a whole lot of credit for things being against the law, but because it violates your right not to be bitch slapped by me. I have that right too. Don't be thinking you're going to come to my house and beat the shit out of me or kick me or shoot me or whatever, because that will turn out badly for you. And here I'm including not just you, the civilian, the neighbor, the guy down, wherever you are listening to me. I'm also addressing that comment to any idiot that thinks, oh, I'm a cop, I've got a uniform and a gun and a badge, and I'll just come and kick in your door and shoot you. A lot of that insanity going on lately. Cops on the rampage. Lunatic policemen. Back a few years, several years ago, I knew people that would call the cops pigs. There's a pig. Here comes the pigs. I shivered in my spine when I heard them say that out loud. I'm like, don't say that. Don't call them that. I'm not sure why I thought that way back then. I felt, no, don't. That's not nice to call them that. Turns out they were right, but still, I still have a problem with that. It's like, to me, it's like the N-word, for cops. And it bothers me. Why would you call a cop a pig? It's just, I don't know. Truth of the matter is, some of the people that use that word, that would say, "Oh, there's the pig." A lot of those people, not a lot, I mean a few, a couple, maybe even, they had a good reason to feel negatively towards police officers. Because they had bad experiences with police officers. And when I say bad experience, I mean the police officer acted like a fucking pig towards them and treated them badly. So they were just simply reacting to a bad experience that they had as a result of encountering a police officer. And I don't blame them, because the policeman in that case, and I heard the story, and there seems to be some credibility to the story. And I understand why they have that negative feeling towards police officers in general, because they figured, I guess, seems to me at that point, that they actually lumped all the cops together because they figured every cop would treat them badly. And I'm pretty much in that mindset myself. Not all cops treat me badly. I've had a couple of decent experiences with police officers. One, when my car stopped on the bridge in town, and a police officer came up behind me in his car and got out and got to move that. And I said, I would love to, but it won't start. And he said, all right, you steer, I'll push. And he went behind my car and put his back against it and pushed me, helped, and he pushed. I helped push. I was on the outside, standing outside the door, holding a steering wheel and the door at the same time. And he said, no, get in the car, steer, steer it around the corner and get it off the road. And I did, and he pushed. It was a level area. And as I recall, the car was pretty hefty, so I'm guessing that cop was pretty strong. And he pushed, and we coasted the car. He coasted the car, basically around through the intersection, and I turned right. I went down the little grade there on the side street and pulled off to the side and parked it. As it turns out, I believe there might have been no parking meter there. I think I stopped it just shy of the parking meter spot, so I didn't have to put any money in the parking meter, which I thought was pretty clever of me. And I think he noticed that and said, "Good idea, because if you'd pushed it, let it drift another 20 feet or 10 feet or so, you would have been parked in a paying spot where you would have had to put money in the meter." So you stopped in a no meter parking, free parking zone. So yeah, that's good. Good idea. Because I wouldn't hate to have to give you a parking ticket. And not that he would, because they had meter maids in town at that point, and the meter maids took care of the parking tickets. A regular cop or deputy, as a rule, just didn't issue parking tickets unless it's just you just happen to be walking by and seeing that someone parked past their parking meter time. Parking meters are kind of not. I don't like parking meters. I think it's kind of greedy of police of cities to put parking meters on the streets. I think the public street, I shouldn't have to pay to park there. But I understand the concept, and that's no big deal. I'm not going to get into that. I mean, put a nickel in the damn machine, or a quarter, or whatever it is nowadays. I haven't put money in a parking meter for many years because basically I just don't go places where I have to do that. Rarely go to town. So anyway, he helped me, and I said thank you, and he said no problem, and he got back in his police car and went on about his business. And eventually I got the thing fixed and got it running and went about my business. But that was a good date. And the other example I will give you is I bought a new truck. Not a new truck. It was an old truck. It turned out to be a death trap, junk truck, but it was new to me. I bought it. It was cheap. Needed a truck. I got it, and I was testing it. I might have even been driving it home from where I bought it at the time. I think I can't remember exactly where I was coming from, but I was heading home. And we got kind of country roads here. It was not like, wasn't in the city. I wasn't in neighborhoods. I was just driving along the road. It was getting dark. It might have been dark. And I went around the curve on the road towards Swisher Hill, we call it. And I was about to go up the hill. And I went around the curve, and there's a little spot to pull off that's just enough room to pull off one vehicle or maybe two. So it's a blind curve, you know. If you're on the other side of the curve, you don't see a car sitting there. So fortunately, and the cop, you know, and oh my God, what? And I pulled over because I was like the only car on the road that I could see. And where he came from, I have no idea because I didn't see him back there in my rear view mirror. The cat over there had an opinion just now. I'm going to let the cat out, and because I have cats, and they walk around my studio, and that's another story. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So that was the experience. The second experience, well, I was telling you about, the siren went, and I pulled off in that little spot there. And he pulled off behind me. And he came out, and I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. I'm like, oh God, what did I do? I wasn't speeding. Maybe I was. I don't know. Why is he stopping me? And is he going to give me a hard time? Is he going to give me a ticket for something? Is he going to shoot me? This has been a number of years ago. Cops just shooting people at random or for some senseless reason didn't occur so much, at least not where I lived. Not in my neighborhood, as they used to say. But anyway, I was concerned. Oh God, I did something. He's going to give me a ticket. It's going to cost me money. And he walked up to the window, and I don't recall if he asked me for my driver's license or anything. He may have, he may not. I don't know for sure. And the truck had temporary tags on it because I just got it that day, and it had temporary tags, which is you can tell they're temporary. They used to be made out of white paper, cardboard, and you got those for like 20 days while you were waiting for your regular metal license plate to show up, and so it was brand new. It was obvious that I had just purchased the vehicle. And so I don't remember if he asked me for my license and insurance. Well, I don't even know if they even required insurance back in those days. But I don't remember if he did or not. And if he did, I showed it to him and so on and so forth. But anyway, he said, the reason I stopped you was you don't have any tail lights on your vehicle. And I said, what? And he said, there's no lights, none. And that's very dangerous because people can't see you, and, when they come up behind you. And I thought instantly, I don't have taillights? How is that possible? I don't think I've ever had a vehicle that didn't have taillights. And when I say taillights, I mean no taillights. None. Zip. I mean no taillights, no nothing. So if after dark I'm driving in the truck and somebody was driving up the road faster than me, and they were going 50 and I was going 40, and they come up real fast behind me, and they didn't see me, and they wouldn't notice me until their headlights actually shined on my truck. Could have been a dangerous situation. He could have run right into me. And if I had stopped with no brake lights showing, the guy wouldn't know I was stopping and just plow right into me, and so it's a dangerous situation. Dangerous for me, dangerous for others that may be driving behind me, including police cars. So unfortunately, he saw me and then didn't see my lights. But anyway, and he said, "You don't have any." I said, "I didn't know." And I looked back, and over my shoulder out the window, and wow, that's not good. And so I just, you should know that, and you should take care of that. And I said, "I absolutely will, sir, officer." And I was respectful because, he was, as I recall, a state policeman, not a county, not a city, wasn't in the city, and so I appreciated him telling me that because I didn't know. I suppose I would have discovered it eventually, but hopefully I would have discovered it before someone plowed into the back of me. So anyway, he did a good deed. He did a good thing. He was protecting and serving, as he should do, as is his job description. And I was very grateful that he told me that, but I was really disappointed that it didn't have any taillights, and I still had to go another couple miles to get home, and it was dark, and I had to drive home that way, and I was almost, maybe he'll drive behind me, and help, protect me and others from running into me. And I don't recall him doing that, but anyway, I made it home, and then I fixed the lights. Won't get into the nightmare of trying to fix taillights. If you ever had that problem, you understand how complicated that is. But at any rate, eventually I got them fixed and didn't have that problem anymore. Well, that particular problem with that piece of junk Chevrolet. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all Chevrolets are bad or junk, but that one definitely was a death trap. It had a 2x4 holding the front fender on. I kid you not. It was under the hood. You couldn't see it. It was on the inside of the vehicle. But 2x4 holding, they put a 204 in there and screwed the fender to it. Didn't even notice that right away. Took me a little while. Wasn't paying attention much. But at any rate, fixed the lights, didn't have a problem. And then the point is, the police officer was very polite, very helpful. He was concerned for my welfare and the welfare of people behind me. And I think that's his job. He should take care of that business. He should do things like that. Like, you know, you got a busted tail light, for example. I mean, you hear this all the time. I stopped him. He stopped me because I had a busted tail light. And ironically, it wasn't busted until after he stopped me and smacked it with his baton, nightstick club thingy that they used to carry. I don't know. I guess they still do. And you know, they busted. Oh, you gotta, and they just use that as an excuse to stop you because they want to, you know, be a pain in the ass and be a freaking pig, as the case may be. Might be an appropriate word to use in that case. So anyway, if you break my tail light after you stop me, you know, lights flashing, and then you casually get out of your squad car, walk up to me, and you walk up toward my car with your baton, and you bam, smash my tail light, and then walk on up to the side of my car and like, you know, I stopped you because you got a broken taillight. I said, of course I got a broken taillight. You just broke it, you freaking bastard. And then they beat you and drag you out of the car and put you in handcuffs and kick you in the face and shit. Well, you do that nowadays. I don't know. I guess they probably always did. Things like that. Some of them, maybe not all of them, some of them. Because some of them are truly pigs. Not meaning an animal, not meaning a oink oink. Yeah, I mean pig as in, well, you know, pigs have a reputation for being sloppy and dirty and, you know, not very becoming. And cops today are fast becoming the epitome of a pig by their behavior, not necessarily their physical appearance or physical condition. Though I've seen some fat cops who were pretty much in the shape of a pig, except for their nose, which was, you know, irrelevant to the story. So the police officer did his duty and did his job, and he was very kind and very nice, and I appreciated it. I thanked him profusely. And he didn't give me a ticket because that would have been silly of him, I think, because I didn't even know the lights weren't working. I should have known, I suppose, but I didn't look back. I was driving home. I was all excited about it. Oh, I got me a truck. It was like maybe the first truck I ever had. And so, you know, that's the way I think of a police officer. When I think, police officers, what do I think of them? Well, they're not pigs. They're not bad guys. They're good guys. They're out there to protect and serve. And that was in the old days when maybe that was true. I'm pretty sure there were bad cops doing bad, nasty things back then, and way before then, and a long time ago, back in the old days. However, in today's world, America, a cop, you can just pretty much assume that he's a bit corrupt. He's a bit off kilter with decency. And he's not out there to protect and serve. He's out there to do bad things to you. Give you a ticket for speeding 5 miles over the speed limit when big deal. I called it harassing, intimidating, and robbing the citizenry. But anyway, I drove on, he drove on, everything went off, and it was fine, and I fixed the taillights, which was a good thing to do. He didn't say, get it done fixed and prove it to me tomorrow. I think somebody, let's see, it's Shinston. No, not Shinston. Oh, Shinston. Don't get me started on that freaking trap, that evil Another story. But anyway, I think that was very nice. I thought that was respectful of him, and I was respectful in return. Grateful for his concern for my welfare and the welfare of other citizens who might come up behind me in the night and run into me and hurt themselves and hurt me. I mean, I wouldn't want to be responsible for hurting people, including hurting myself. So I'm very grateful to the policeman for doing that. But he didn't give me a ticket, and I think if he had given me a ticket, I would have been really disappointed in him, because that's just not nice. So you see, what I'm getting at here is that he's a model of what a police officer should be. And I've had another case where I had a burnout headlight. Well, it burned out on the way home from work. Again, it was in the evening. It was dark, just after dark, as I recall. And the policeman pulled me over, and then, you got a headlight burn out there, and he issued me a ticket. They're like, what happened to the nice guy that just, give me a heads up? Wouldn't it have been, I think it would have been more appropriate if the police officer had just said, are you aware that you have a headlight that's not burning? And no, I didn't. And I didn't. Apparently I don't pay very much attention to headlights and shit, and taillights. Until someone tells me about it. I'm a little better at that today. I don't, if I have a taillight goes out, I'm usually aware of it immediately, fairly immediately, at least if it's dark. So he gave me a ticket for defective equipment or some such thing as that, and what the hell? Couldn't you just told me about it and said, hey? And I got the ticket, and I had like 5 days to show up at the police department in this little 2-bit town of Monongah, which is kind of quaint. I kind of like Monongah as a rule, but don't particularly like the cops that give me tickets in that town. And he was a city policeman or a town policeman. They only had like 2 cops in that town, and a police chief who was also the mayor, I think. It's a little town, a couple hundred people or so. And I had 5 days to report to the police station and prove that I had fixed the headlight. And do I have to pay the ticket if I get it fixed? And, anyway, I did it, have it fixed. I was a little bummed out because, I got to go buy a headlight and put it in. And I did. And I stopped by the police station and showed the police officer, and he just happened to be there, and he came out and looked at it, turned the headlight, and I turned it on, and he said, it works, it's fine. And he said, okay. And I said, but what about the ticket? I fixed it. I didn't know it was broken, and it didn't work. I fixed it, so why should I pay a ticket? I mean, it's not broken now. And I did comply with your directive to come in and show that I fixed it, which I accept as reasonable. So as I recall, I didn't have to pay the ticket. He said, that's okay. We'll dismiss the ticket. Alrighty. That's very good. I appreciate that. I have respect for that. You didn't try to milk me for money. Though he could have, I suppose. Many of them do. So I'm very grateful in that case. So the cop was good. So there's 3 situations and examples of where police officers, doing a good job, as I say, doing a good job, did their duty, were protecting and serving, because, I need a headlight. It kind of puzzles me sometimes when I see cars driving around with just one headlight. And like, how do they get away with that? I didn't. I mean, my headlight couldn't have been burned out like more than that night. I mean, it's like the day before it worked fine. So I'm guessing it burned out on the way home. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to know it was burnt out. And those are my 3 experiences with cops that were very good and favorable to them, and an honor to them that they did their job and did it properly and had some compassion for the citizenry they're supposed to be serving. When I say serving, I don't mean, well, protect and serve, meaning protect the government or whatever, and serve their pocketbook or their wallet of themselves in the city that they work for. And I didn't even live in Monongah at the time. I mean, I was an outsider, an alien, as they say sometimes. Not an illegal alien. Not like Mexican or something. That's a different story. So anyway, I've just related to you 3 examples of where cops didn't act like pigs and treated me with respect and served me well, and the public as well, because it's not safe to drive around with a burnt-out headlight. Someone coming towards you at night and doesn't see your lights, except for the one on the wrong side of your, on the outside of your car, on the berm side of the car. The one in the middle, towards the center line, is burnt out. They might swerve over and hit you, not seeing that side of your car. So, the police officer was protecting and serving the public, me as well as others, and that's an honorable thing. And I can point to those 3 examples and say, yeah, those cops were decent cops and doing their job properly. No tickets. So, what I'm saying is, that's 3. I can't say the same for the guy in Masontown, West Virginia, or is it Masontown, Pennsylvania? Or maybe there's 2 towns named Masontown. At any rate, won't get into the bad cop thing on this episode. So keep that in mind, and maybe the next time I talk to you, I will give you some examples of bad cops I have had experiences with, and some of the bad experiences. So I will talk to you in a little bit. You have a nice day.